So let me ask you a question. Is it ecosystem or is it ecosystem? What do you think? I think it's ecosystem. Anyhow, this is on the human impact on ecosystems. All right, so all living things affect the environment around them. All right, this is the really kind of a what do you think kind of portion of this topic where you say, well, our decisions about how to use or generally misuse the Earth's resources has a profound effect on all the organisms that depend on the resources. Profound effect. All right, so you'll see that these 7 areas that we're going to highlight here, all right, the use of resources, direct harvesting, habitat destruction, deforestation, imported species, loss of biodiversity, and pollution. So let's onward and upward. All right. So if we talk about the resources, one thing to keep in mind is that the Earth has, in certain cases, a very limited resources, has a finite supply of resources. Some of the Earth's resources, such as your food supply and sun, as you can see in my list there, are renewable. Given sufficient time, renewable resources can be replaced. However, there are some resources that cannot be replaced. The fossil fuels, minerals, nuclear energy cannot be replaced. Once they are used, they're used. So decisions that are being made today and tomorrow will determine whether or not we increase the Earth's consumptions of its limited resources. And one way to reduce the resources to control the growth rate of population, as ever increasing human population accelerates the use of Earth's limited resources. So making the right decisions about these issues might help you have a long, long and happy life, plus getting certain people out of political office. Never mind, sorry, no politics. All right, so you can see the renewable resources, all right, that we have in front of you. There's solar, wind, tides, water, food, all of those. All right, so giving up, for example, using the food. Fish, you like fish? Well, they are renewable resources. Even if many fish are captured over time, populations can reproduce and recover their losses. But there's, of course, the human impact to that. So I think to myself, all right, well, modern commercial fishing removes so many fish so quickly that populations might not have enough time to recover. And so in some cases, that reduction can be so severe that the populations might not be able to reproduce, and that is not a good thing. And therefore, they would no longer be a renewable resource. Or just an example there for what you see. So you want to know your renewable versus non-renewable. And we go by the word. Okay, reduce, avoid using the resource, use energy efficiently. So don't drive, walk, take your bike, or if you're older, take Metro North, carpool, okay? Reuse, use the same product over and over again instead of throwing it away. After one, the whole idea of paper towel usage where you could use a rag and wash it out or wash it and use it again. Dishes instead of paper plates. Renewable resource, my plastic water bottle and yours. Recycle. Don't throw it away. Instead, discard the product. So reuse, recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle. Keep that in mind. Human impact, industrialization, technology. Take a look at energy sources here. This is one thing that you want to know, pro and a con, about the 5 major energy sources out there. Notice they're all low emissions and non-polluting. They're good. They're good. However, you see the expense in one, radioactive waste in another, noisy in some of them. I like the sound of wind, can damage other habitats, hydroelectric, dam production, and of course, contaminate and ground. So there are cons, but notice the pros you have here. Use them effectively. Alternative energy sources, natural processes in our ecosystems. Next panel here. Human impact, and you got to say, look at those cuties of direct harvesting. All right, so what is direct harvesting? All right, that's the destruction I guess, or removal of a species from their habitat, which can sometimes lead to extinction. Here are 4 examples of direct harvesting. Number 1, overhunting. All right, too much hunting. Fisheries. All right, so pets. All right, direct harvesting of taking an animal, and poaching. So you can see again here, removal of a species from their habitats is direct harvesting. So what are some examples from, they can sometimes lead to extinction. So some species that live in distant parts of the world are removed and sold to people who want them as unusual pets. All right, you see the cute little monkey you have there, or a beautiful parrot from a pet shop, may not have been born in captivity, but instead they've been captured in the wild and shipped. A lot of those animals die in the process, though. This cute little hand there. All right, organisms are killed, poached for their tusks. Elephants, which they can make jewelry into. I hate that. So, direct harvesting. Bad, 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 bad. Habitat destruction. Human impact. Habitat destruction. All right. Many people, remember, this is all done about, think that habitat is destroyed when organisms simply find a new place to live. No, not really that easy, because other parts of the ecosystem are already occupied. These animals seldom find a new place to live. Habitat destruction occurs when people take over their land for their own use. I'm going to act like I hate people now. So it's important that the way species have become endangered, they simply have nowhere to go. Habitats are destroyed, whole ecosystems can be damaged. All right, one way that happens is deforestation. Destruction of the forest results from human activity. A land use decision that causes widespread habitat destruction. All right, people clear the forest. Not good, not good, not good. Also leads to a loss of biodiversity. Loss of biodiversity. Go take a look at the end of the last screencast. You find out what happens with the loss of biodiversity. Ecosystems can no longer or will no longer be stable. All right. It can also affect the health of people as well. Not good, not good. Habitat destruction. Imported species. Ugh. Goodness gracious. Biodiversity is often reduced when people import and release a species from one environment into another. Oh, I didn't really want that big, long, 20-foot snake. I'm just going to release them into the Everglades. Everglades, and it crawls into the baby's bedroom at night and eats the baby. It has happened. Check out the news. It has happened. So it is really, so before 1959, there were no rabbits. I looked this up in Australia. Then 24 rabbits were released in Australia. By 1953, more than 1 billion rabbits occupied 1.2 square miles in Australia. Rabbits ate massive amounts of vegetation normally available to the native species. That is bringing in, invasive species, invasive exotics. So once imported, once they get there, they become pests out of the natural. So laws. Notice when you get back in from going to certain places in our country, you get stopped at customs. All right. And if you have certain things, you can't bring it into. All right. Of course, and this is from last year, but the Q word is down there. You may be quarantined as well. All right. So again, all of these have an impact. All right. On all right, the human impact. Keep going through industrialization and technology. Okay, but which is a good thing. It's the development of an economy, which machines produce things that people use. However, you got to be careful. Pollution is the aspect here. Thermal pollution, nuclear radiation, nuclear energy heats water. Air pollution, acid rain, acid precipitation, acid deposition on statues. Water pollution, got to be careful, to be control thermal, biological, chemical, sediment, control the pollution, the impact. So reduce, reuse, recycle. You've got to have machinery. We get it. All right, we get it there. So you got to be careful with it. All right, and then you have 3 aspects of that change: acid rain, brought on by the burning of fossil fuels. Ozone depletion by the release of chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, which turns ozone, O3, back into oxygen. All right, and because as we know, ozone blocks out UV light. UV light is released in. Very bad effects on humans. Global warming, burning of fossil fuels, that is not ozone depletion. So we want to know what fossil fuels are. All right, increased temperature. If you increase temperature, greenhouse effect. All right, horrible, horrible global warming. All right, climate change. All right, so. All right, so for thousands of years, again, the Earth has been kept warm. In recent years, however, the amount of greenhouse gases has increased. All right, so the amount of greenhouse gases increased. The Earth's atmosphere traps radiation, which would normally escape. And so the Earth is warming. And carbon dioxide, is the major greenhouse gas release when a fossil fuel is burned. And so if the greenhouse effect causes a climate change, world's food supply could suffer. Another effect could be the ice caps, which are melting, flooding, Maybe in a couple of years, I will have oceanfront property in Mount Kisco. You never know. You never know. All right, depletion of the ozone. So ozone layer, okay, chlorofluorocarbons, the ozone shield, CFCs. Those are things found in air conditioners or refrigerators. Not good, not good. All right, but that's actually better than climate change has been over the years. All right, depletion. All right, how it should be, how it's depleted. Gases come in. Yikes. All right, over the years, depletion of the ozone layer. Global warming. Again, you covered last year in earth science, so I'm not going to belate this. All right, because this is earth science at this point. All right, global warming is a trend, up and down, up and down. So you get the naysayers say, look, it's winter, it's 30, right? The fact that we had no snow this winter, could be just a year thing, but wild temperatures, cold and warm, I don't know, global warming. All right, so take a look at that one more. All right, cost benefit. Is it negative cost or positive cost, the human impact? All right, that is it. That is it for this screencast. That is it for the content of this course. Freshman year over.